Okay, let's unpack this a bit. How often do you actually think about, the bathroom experience when you're out? Like at a bar or a club?
Probably not much, right? Unless it's really, really bad.
Exactly. But it turns out, well, bar and club owners, they probably should be thinking about it. A lot, actually. We're doing a deep dive today looking at how upgrading those often overlooked bathrooms can actually help bring in more customers. We've got some really interesting source material on this.
Yeah, and the source material, it really stresses something pretty fundamental. It's that, people dress up, they make an effort for a night out.
Right.
And they want to feel well respected by the place they're going to. And part of that respect is having a clean, private, decent washroom experience.
Okay.
The idea is, and the source puts it this way, you should actually feel cleaner when you leave the bathroom than when you walked in.
Cleaner leaving than entering. I like that.
And that feeling, that comfort and cleanliness, it directly affects whether someone enjoys their night and, crucially, whether they decide to come back.
Makes sense. Oh, and this deep dive is brought to you by Handy Washroom Direct. So the source material, it lays out, 7 specific areas for upgrades? 7. That feels pretty detailed.
It does, but it gets specific because the argument is that the details really, really matter here. It kicks off with sinks and countertops.
Okay, sinks. What about them?
Well, the suggestion is upgrade the whole look. Think black countertops are recommended, maybe dark sinks or even classic white ones. The goal isn't just hygiene, it's creating a classy, pleasant hand washing experience.
So people aren't thinking, ew, gross, while they're trying to get clean.
Exactly. You shouldn't have to think about the fixture's cleanliness while using it.
Right, okay. What's area number 2?
Mirrors. Sounds basic, right?
Yeah.
But if the mirrors are foggy or too small or cracked, damaged, even just loose on the wall, the source says upgrade them. Stat.
Why the urgency on mirrors?
Because people always check themselves out, fixing hair, touching up makeup, just a quick glance,
True. Especially women, maybe.
For sure. And a good clear mirror is just part of that whole necessary moment in the washroom. They even suggest maybe splurging on damage-resistant mirrors, given the environment.
That's actually pretty smart.
Yeah.
Okay, number 3, dispensers. This sounds like it covers a few things.
It does. Soap, paper towels, toilet paper, and the source gets quite particular.
Oh, yeah.
For soap, it has to work every single time. Give enough soap. It should look. Classy dark colors are preferred be attached to the wall properly, and this is key, always be full.
Nothing worse than waving your hand under an empty dispenser.
Exactly. A good working, nice-looking soap dispenser, it signals that the place pays attention, that it's, a higher-end establishment.
Right, signals quality. What about paper towels?
Essential accessory. You need 1 or 2 dispensers, and again, they must work reliably. Nobody wants to wipe their wet hands on their jeans.
Ugh, no.
So, splurging a bit on classy ones that actually function, worth it, according to the source, reinforces that quality feel.
And the toilet paper dispenser.
Yeah.
Feels like the most basic, but maybe the most critical.
Absolutely critical. The source is blunt. It needs to work. Paper needs to be easy to get. They really don't like those big, bulky round ones or the single sheet dispensers.
Ah, the single sheet struggle.
Yeah. They suggest a specific style, black, plain, no big logos, and crucially, with a little window or section for a backup roll so it's easy to see and refill. Get the basics wrong here, the source warns, and people will notice and maybe go somewhere else next time.
Wow, okay. It's not just if there's TP, but how it's presented. Got it. Garbage cans are next.
Yep, garbage cans, not glamorous, but placement is key.
Where should they go?
Not under the sink. Attach them to the wall, make them sturdy, discreet, deep enough. 1 or 2 should do it. And here's a clever bit from the source.
Yeah.
Put them right near the exit door.
Oh, so you can use a paper towel on the handle?
Exactly. Use the towel on the handle, then immediately toss it right there. No excuse for towels ending up on the floor.
That is smart. Prevents mess right where it often happens. Okay, last one on the main list. Hand dryers. You mentioned they might spread germs.
Yeah, the source acknowledges that whole debate. But it also points out some patrons do like them, especially if the paper towel situation isn't great. And some newer ones boast about germ-killing tech.
So maybe not a definite no.
Right. If you choose carefully, maybe get a nice modern one, the source suggests it can still add a bit of credibility, a touch of class.
Okay, that covers the 7 functional areas.
Yeah.
But there was a bonus tip too, right, about the overall look.
Yes. A pretty bold aesthetic tip. Paint the walls black, stall doors too, use black tiles.
Wow. all black.
Pretty much. The source says the only things that should really be white are the toilets themselves and maybe the sinks. It's about creating a very specific, sleek, intentional vibe.
Interesting. So tying this all together, what's the main takeaway?
Well, the core argument from the source is that all these seemingly small things, these details in the washroom, that aren't just about being clean, they add up. They significantly shape the patron's overall experience, even if it's subconscious. Investing in these upgrades shows respect, makes people feel better about being there, and it directly influences whether they come back. It's not just fluff, it hits the bottom line. It's smart business.
So thinking about the washroom, not just as utility, but as part of the experience is key. Makes you realize how much those little details actually stand out.
For sure. For better or worse.
And just a reminder, you can visit handywashroom.com for deals on all the equipment we talked about today.